Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Moon, and back in June of 2025, I made an EP called Swamp Walk. And in this video series, I'm going to break down the Swamp Walk world. I'm going to break down the themes of the EP. I'm going to break down how I made the songs, the production behind the songs, old demos, unreleased stuff, as well as the videos. I'm going to break down how I expanded this world of a swamp in my mind into these songs and in these videos. One big reason why I wanted to make this video series was, for me personally, I love watching videos of the behind the scenes at its roughest, rawest stage. Like, I really like watching artist interviews where they're talking about the creative process behind how they made a song or how they made an album. I love watching film BTS, like blooper reels. There's something really beautiful and inspiring about seeing a fragment of an idea or small glimpse of an idea fully become realized and actualized into the final product, whatever it is. For me, that aspect of the creative process is really inspiring to me because as much as artists love to credit the ether and their spiritual, like, subconscious for where they find inspiration, I think there's also a lot of beauty in the pragmatism. I think a lot of that hard work often gets uncredited and overlooked, and I just kind of wanted to make this video series for myself just to kind of highlight how many years it took me to make this EP. Even though I probably spent maybe like 2 years actually working on the EP, this was probably like a 6-year long process. Now, getting into the context behind Swamp Walk, I really resonated with this idea that I was stuck within the swamps of my own mind. Now, what that means is, for me, there's a period in my life where I felt very stuck and uncertain of life and where I was going and what I was doing. I was working paycheck to paycheck, jumping between jobs. I was working at a cafe, doing production work as a PA on photo shoots, commercial sets, music videos, working at a studio. I was working as a piano teacher at an after-school center, just doing a bunch of things to get by, to make money to pay rent, but also fund my hobbies and passions, while at the same time balancing out my personal life and my relationships with friends, family. This is not a unique story. This is a universal early to mid-20s experience, I'm sure. And in the midst of all of that balancing out, there was a gray cloud just looming in the back of my mind, slowly growing closer and closer to the front of my brain. This existential dread started to loom over my mind, and the longer that I sat in this pit, the deeper I started to sink, and the more and more I started to think about how uncertain I was, or of how stuck I was in place. There were so many times in this period of my life where I just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again and nothing was kind of changing. I was aware of this cycle, this pattern of repetition, but I felt like I couldn't find a way out, and I think that really was a big indicator of this depressive state that I was probably in. And I felt this existential gray, dreadful, looming cloud following me everywhere I went. I was online. I would be on the doom scroll. I'd feel stuck. I would see artists posting content for engagement, and I want to start posting content to bring more awareness to my music. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to doom scroll. So now it just feels like a silly back and forth game I have to play here. And it all just felt like a very silly, funky world that I was kind of living in. And I wanted to capture what that feeling and what that emotion felt like in my mind in a music form. So that's how the Swamp Walk world kind of became created. The swamp, in my mind, is just like a backdrop for this existential, dreadful feeling of uncertainty and feeling stuck in place and seeing life kind of pass through you. Yeah, and I've just really resonated with this idea of a swamp because I just kind of felt like it existed in different aspects of my life, whether it's in a physical, like, whether it was in like a physical place, whether you're stuck at home or like you're stuck in a place in a situation that you don't want to be in. You're stuck online, kind of getting caught in this doom scroll. Or you're feeling this existential dread of what am I doing with my life. I just felt like there were so many avenues where people could get stuck in the swamps within their own mind, and that's why I wanted to create a world, and I wanted to build a soundtrack of what the swamp felt like. And yeah, that's how I came up with the idea for Swamp Walk.